Hello? Hello? Is that yes, there it is. Okay, good. Huh. Not really sure what the problem there was. Okay, problem solved. Right, good. Now I will just wait to see who will come. I think I better check it on Twitch though. Whoever's watching right now, I'm not going to begin playing for a few minutes. I wait for people to arrive, and also I have to wait for my audio to work properly, which it sometimes does not. Which it sometimes does not. It sounds very quiet. It sounds very quiet. It sounds very quiet. Oh, okay, there's the echo there. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay, tell me how the audio is. I'm not sure if it's too high or too low. It sounds really quiet for me, but I don't know. Maybe it's okay for you guys. It seems okay to you. Okay, well, I just fiddled with it. I set it up and then up and down again. Oh well. Anyway, I'm just waiting for a moment while people join, although I think probably I can start now. Oh, Calandiel! Hi there, Calandiel. Okay, so anyway, this is the Songs of the Eons test build posted technically this morning at some very early hour. I think it was just a little bit past midnight. And I have some things planned to show you, but first I will start with the default settings, terrain only, and I will use my same seed I always use, 1337. I will just generate that world, change no settings, leave it all the same, so that you can see what the default looks like. Anyway, that's going to take a little while to load, as it always does. I'm going to spy on you. It's always informative to see people interact with things secondhand. Wink, wink. Ha ha ha. Well, you see, Calandiel, that's one of the two reasons I do this stream. Number one is to show all of the non-patrons what progress has been made, and number two is to sort of test things and look around and see what's good, what's bad, and also have more eyeballs looking at it so that other people maybe can notice stuff and I can report it to you and we can improve these things. I want to help. Anyway, this is taking a little while. Ba-ba-ba. Now, has world generation in terms of geology and ecology changed at all since 0.2? Yes. Well, sort of. I'll show you. There are now local plants and animals, and that's what the hunter-gatherers eat now. You'll see it. You'll see it once we finish generating this world. You know, if I were a good streamer, what I would have done is generate the world before the stream, so I wouldn't have to sit through this loading screen. Okay, here we go. But first, I'm going to save the world. This is going to be 1337. Save the world. Come on. Get a move on here, computer. Yeah, I really should have done this before the stream. I didn't think about that, though. Because I'm not a very smart guy. Oh, and I also changed the language file as well for German. I finally now can see how the German names appear in the game, and I was able to tweak them a bit to remove some of the names I didn't like and add some more I do like, and now they look a bit better. At the moment, there are only two language files, German and Russian, but of course in the future there will be a lot more. I really do like how the German names turned out though. They're pretty good. Now, before I click play, actually, I want to know, okay, so one of the things that is here is that there are now realms in the world. There are little hunter-gatherer tribes. But if I click on one and click play, does it make a difference? No. Okay, I didn't think so. Yeah, so everything is just observing. That's fine. Anyway, so let me check chat here. Oh yeah, thanks for language files. No problem. And I also noticed that the culture and religion ones are still placeholders. I could also translate those for you if you want, but I don't know if you want to have those be more random, unaffiliated with real life names. So I haven't touched those yet. Is this the first test built since 0.2? Yes. Yes, it is the first test built in 0.2. That's why I'm so excited to show it to you. It was released this morning, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, okay, now we're doing it. We're doing a test stream. Anyway, so you can see well, for number one, world generations changed a little bit. We look at the biome map mode. So in 0.2, when you first create a world, there are no plants anywhere. It's all barren. But now the world begins with some plants. These are just the initial plants. And then once you start the simulation, the plants will grow or die depending on how they survive in the biome. But this is just so that the world isn't totally barren, a giant wasteland at the beginning of the game, which is important because we have these little hunter-gatherer dudes, and we can see their names. So you click on one of their um, settlements here, the black dots, and then we go to PO, that's population, and you can see the culture. Although culture and religion are just placeholders, they don't mean anything. They're all human now, but once the humans are finished being developed, of course, the elves will come since there was that vote. And there's this population pyramid too. So you can see what the proportion is between the females and the males. Although I do think that once the numbers become really large, once we're dealing with numbers in the hundreds or thousands, this population pyramid is going to be pretty difficult to read. And so I'm thinking these numbers here will have to be somehow rearranged. So maybe the three pie charts could be here at the top like that, and then with the text under the pie chart, and then this whole half of the bottom here could be just for the population graph, so that you would have a lot more space. You could spread out the information. But just think if there were numbers in the thousands here in this UI element, that would be so small and difficult to see. Anyway, that's just a suggestion for Calandiel. Anything else in chat? Nope. Okay. So we can go to buildings. Right. So these are all the buildings in this little hunter-gatherer camp. Now, the hunter-gatherer camps now are all identical. And there is ground storage, which at the moment has ambrosia. And you can click on ambrosia, the picture there, to get its description. Now, every item in the game has a text file. You can go to the game's files and edit them yourself. They're just .txt files. You can open them with Notepad, and you can change them to be whatever you want. Anyway, this is ambrosia. This is what all the hunter-gatherers in the world start with so that they don't starve in the first year of the simulation while everything is still being set up. And also, I presume that ambrosia will be acquirable later through magic. It is magic food, like in World of Warcraft, where a mage can summon food and drink. But anyway, this is just the beginning food placeholders so they don't all starve. And you can see it's meat and plant. It has lots of proteins and stuff. What I really wish, though, is that there were a back button here. Instead, I have to click on the X and then reopen the window and then go back to the ground storage here to go back to the window I was looking at. I don't like that. You can see anyway that there is a weight capacity of 1,000. Now, these are all buildings here. And the game uses the term building very broadly. A building is basically any structure or even just a spot of land that is used for something or that somebody owns. Now, at the moment, these little areas are all owned by the families, I guess. We can look at the characters here and you can see that, okay, well, this isn't very good. These are the default English names. Let's go to the German ones. Um, German names. Those look really good. I like how the German names appeared. Okay, there we go. Here's a German settlement. So we can see these guys are separated into families. There's the Burg family, Burg. Then there's Gund, Sieg. So they have different families. And then these buildings will then go to the families once we start the simulation. And then, let me check chat here. I've been talking for a while. Need to change up that pyramid. Yes, yes. Okay. Now we see that there is hunting camp, gathering camp, water carrier. Now the water carrier, as far as I can tell, doesn't do anything yet, but presumably that'll be important for gathering water later. You can click on the state as well, and it gives you the area in France's, which I still find quite funny, and it gives you the province. Now, what I would like here is if I could see the population. So there'd be a tab here that would show me the all the statistics, population statistics for this whole state. And then you can click here to see the leader of the state. And this is a character. And the characters all have these stats. And his nutrition is all 100% because we're still at day one. That's going to change, of course, once we start things. But you can see he has health, body fat, muscles, body size. Now, these are all humans, so they're all going to be around 100% body size. But they can go over 100% in that they become very plump and fat. But they can also go under 100% if they become kind of skinny. And then obviously the other races will have body sizes that are larger or smaller. So 100% is just the average size of a human. And again, the other races will have different stats too. Um, let's see, what else? What else? What else? What else? Oh yes, the gathering camp and hunting camp. So here's the other big thing with this test build. If we go to ecology, you can see there are two more map modes here at the bottom, local plants and local animals. And all right, prepare your eyes. Are you ready? Are you ready to see the cool thing, the really awesome thing that's very exciting about this? Boom! So these are the local plants. These are all the plants that are spawned into the world that the hunter-gatherers will gather and eat. And there are lots and lots and lots of them. There are different ones for different biomes. But we go over here, okay, let's see. What is this biome? This biome is temperate savanna, temperate grassland. Okay, so we're going to find the sorts of plants that one will find in such an area. And what plants do we find here? Well, we have, if we go to climate, no. Ecology, no, that's economics. Flora, fauna, there it is. So local plant is musk strawberry. There's also local animal. I'll get to that. Musk strawberry, wild barley, wild apples, figs, sorghum, date palms, rye, einkorn. There's there are lots and lots. Now, this actually is only a small selection. The game will, when 0.3 is released, have many more plants. But these are just the initial ones in order to test the system, make sure everything's working properly. Down here you can see the tropical ones. We've got a lot of bananas, and sugarcane and yams, black pepper, and we go to an Arctic area, you can see that there's not a whole lot. It's just all a lot of Arctic willows, which are these little shrubs. Honeysuckles, again, shrubs, musk strawberries, and nettles. So there's very poor dietary variety up here in the north, which makes sense. Anyway, let's go back to our dudes, our hunter-gatherers. Well, yeah, let me check chat. Anybody have any questions? Nope. Okay, good. Wait, I just saw something go in chat. What's that? Ah, Calandiel says, conceptually speaking, if a tile doesn't have direct access to fresh water on the strategic map, by either being on a freshwater wetland, river, or coastal lake, water carrier gives water access to it. I may change it later, but basically the more population. Ah, okay. So water carriers carry water from the nearest freshwater source to the settlement if it's not located on a freshwater source. I see. Okay, and also I would like to know if the settlement is located on the sea, will the people be able to desalinate the water? I mean, you can do that through boiling. It's a bit of a cumbersome process. It requires a lot of fuel, but theoretically they could desalinate their own water. It's very inefficient, but if it's the only way you can get water, then that's how you get your water. But I don't know if that's something you want to have in the game because it's so inefficient. Not right now, but that isn't something I'd like to add. Good, good. Okay, cool. So anyway, that could be something else the water carrier does. So the water carrier, that's a guy as well. There's a person, a character who becomes a water character. This water guy could either collect the water from the nearest water source, or if there isn't one, he could desalinate water from the sea, if that works. Hopefully, anyway, if that's how we can get things arranged. Anyway, what happens with this gathering camp is as we once I unpause, once I finish explaining things, you'll see that the inventory of the gathering camp will collect a lot of stuff. It will collect items from the tiles owned by this settlement. So this settlement is squished between these other two, and it will get let's see, flora fauna. It will get rye, and figs and wheat. Rye, fig, wheat. That's what we're going to see appear in that gathering camp. And it's going to be a lot of husks. And that is, now I'm not sure, either the hunter gatherers eat the husks or the husks are left over from their eating. I'm not totally sure. I think they eat the husks. You can click on the husk and they have stats, but the stats are very bad. They have, I think, one nutrition or something like that. Well, anyway, there also is the other thing, the hunting camp. Let me check chat first. Okay, nothing in chat. Good. Um, Now, the hunting camp is where the animal products will be gathered, the animal carcasses which the people eat. Now, presumably, later in the game's development, there will be other buildings that will be involved in cooking. So the hunting camp will be the place where the carcass is taken once the animal is killed, and then there'll probably be a building like a campfire or something like that, where the meat is then cooked. Right now, though, they eat the meat raw, which you can do actually. If in real life, if you kill an animal and eat it immediately, just minutes after you kill it, the animal's immune system is still functioning because it hasn't been dead long enough. And so actually the meat is kind of okay to eat if you eat it right away. But of course, if you cook it, you get a lot more nutrition out of it, or rather, your body doesn't have to expend as much energy digesting it. So basically, you get more bang for your buck. Whatever. That's not what we're talking about. Anyway, you can look at the local animals map mode. Now, this is just placeholder. Right now, there are two kinds of animal, shrimp and deer. The shrimp are always found along water. You can see them, they're always along the rivers here or along the coast. And the deer are found pretty much everywhere else. And you will see then in the hunting camp, the carcasses of shrimp and deer will appear. And I guess shrimp carcasses will be very small, but whatever. Let's see. Yeah, they eat the husks. I may rename it, but husks are foragers forage for processing them. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I just I don't have a problem with it being called a husk. I was just a bit confused about whether they were directly eating the things they were gathering or whether they were first processing them into something else. That wasn't really clear, but I guess at this point it doesn't really matter. Let's see, what else? What else did I want to show? There was something else. Oh, yes. If we go to geology, you can see that now, or yes, there are. Now, this might not be new. Maybe this was in the previous version. I just didn't notice, but there are resources and surface resources. You see the difference. The resources are speckled all over the map, but the surface resources are the ones that are close to the surface that our primitive dudes running around the world will be able to access. And these are mostly stones and stones and gems that will be useful to Stone Age societies. So if we go to geology, we have resource and then service resource. This is praise, that's a kind of stone. Microcline is stone, fire opal is a gem, morion is a gem, microcline, another stone, praise opal, morion, gold opal. Yeah, so these are mostly stones and gems that are collected near the surface. But I I assume that something like copper could theoretically be a surface resource, right? Because it can occur at the surface, or iron, even if it's unusual, of course, because if copper is directly exposed to the air, it'll oxidize. But still, there are places in the world where it can be collected quite close to the surface, or at least it was before it was all collected. Obviously, such places now are all exhausted because that was the place where the copper was gotten first because it was the easiest. Anyway, if we go to the resources map mode, we can see the deeper resources that will require some mining or something. So there's bituminous coal, kaolinite, magnetite, that's iron, limonite, I don't know what that is. Tetrahedrite, that's also iron. Cassiterite, I don't remember. There are lots of them. Bauxite, whatever. Lignite, I think is that carbon? Ah, whatever. Native gold, that's nice. This is a nice little area. Schorl, that's a nice name. I don't know what that is. Pudding stone, yes, that's a fun name. Pudding stone. Oh, also, I noticed that in the previous version of songs, these coral islands would not have any plants on them because they had very thin soil. If we go to climate, geology, flora, fauna, there it is. So we go soil depth is 0.06 meters. Very, very thin soil. And they were always barren because they didn't have enough soil to support plant life. But now they spawn with plants on them, and they will keep the plants presumably until they are removed. So I guess some people could move onto the island, cut down the trees, and the trees would just basically never regrow or regrow extremely slowly because there's just barely any soil there. But now there aren't all these barren islands scattered around. Let's see. Let me check chat again. Ooh, I missed a lot of things in chat. Okay, let me go back. Yo, Solly, can you give a quick rundown on what's different? Well, that's what I've been doing this whole time. You might have to rewind a bit. I think servers reduced from resources 0.2. Yeah, maybe they were. I don't remember. It looks like they're spawning a little different now. I imported Dwarf Fortress raw files, but Dwarf Fortress is a bit unrealistic with its data files. The servers users in particular are wrong because it's trivial to mine in DF, so they had to give you more of an incentive to dig deep. Ah, we'll have to fix it when people start using those resources. I hope they will keep the plants. I haven't tested it on a timescale of 1,000 years. Well, yeah, I don't know about the islands. We'll see. Although those islands probably won't be very important anyway. I mean, maybe if they're in a really useful location, it could be a location of a fortress or something like that. But for the most part, these islands are just going to be irrelevant. So there's not much reason to worry about them. Okay, is the local vegetation map mode just go show? I think it means the majority of vegetation or all the vegetation in the tile. It does show. Local vegetation. Let me see what you mean. You mean this? The local plants? The majority of vegetation or all the vegetation in a tile? Oh, this one. Okay, yes. So this is the local plants. Every tile gets one kind of plant assigned to it. And there can only be one kind of plant in a tile. Now, yes, we can talk about unrealistic, blah blah, whatever. But the thing is, there are so many tiles and there's so much variety that it doesn't really matter. That's a sacrifice that has to be made because of just the way the game is. Just like every tile will have one kind of animal, and also these animals and plants are a sort of where is it? There's they are a sort of pool of food that exists in the area. And how it will work is the hunter gatherers will move into the area and then they will reduce that pool of food to effectively zero or some very low value that's not large enough. There's not enough food remaining for the hunter gatherers. And then the people will move on to another area and this this wild food will regrow, it will replenish, and this can never be permanently extinguished. So these deer and these shrimp can never be driven to extinction ever. Now, what they could do, what the civilizations could do, is constantly reduce the value of the local plants and animals to zero so that the wild food just never replenishes. But if the civilizations were to be destroyed, which is, of course, one of the things that Songs is supposed to have simulated, then those things would eventually grow back. And as far as I know, they can't change either. So this province will this tile, excuse me, this tile will always, always, always for the rest of the game forever have einkorn wheat and deer. And that cannot change. But of course, this can be supplemented with agriculture, but that's a long way away. That's not even on the radar at the moment. That's an unfortunate limitation, you say. Well, yeah, but that's just the way it's got to be. They're just now you have to ask Calandiel for details. I don't really know exactly why, but there can't be multiple kinds of plants or animals in one tile. Oh, also, I noticed when you select a tile, you can see that the indicator there grows and shrinks. A little detail there. I like that. That's good. Um, let's see. Is there anything else I want to show you before I begin the simulation? And oh yes, there's population density now, of course. You can see the um, the places in the world that are inhabited. Hmm, that's strange. Why are these rivers? Huh, those rivers should be colored. That must be some kind of graphical bug. Anyway, you can look around the world and see where the people are. There's some more guys there. Oh, wow, these guys spawn a little island there. And then there's pop density, which doesn't really mean anything at the moment because, of course, they're all just these one tile things. And then there's religion and culture, but again, those are placeholder. And then the races, it's all human, so again, it doesn't really mean anything yet. Yet. Let's see. What else? What else? I believe that is nothing. I believe I have shown you pretty much everything there is to see. These two are blank. Yeah, you can see the realm mode, but that's disabled. These are disabled because they're placeholders. Okay, I think we're ready. So let's go back to the real life map mode. And now, whoops, if we go to speed 10, we zoom out, you'll be able to see that the biomes will change a bit as the months go by. Yeah, you see, because the game just set the initial plants, and those may or may not be the plants that actually survive best in the area, and the simulation needs to run for a while for the biomes to develop. But that's fine because it only takes a couple of years. You know, here's the temperate broadleaf forest there, and now you can see that along the rivers there is mixed forest. You know, I'm gonna let that go for a bit, and let's check chat. Uh, Settlements have a catchment area that ranges 2 to 4 tiles, having single species per tile is a big problem because each settlement will exploit enough tiles to get a cross section of any given miles common resources. There are 10 speeds. All things go. Yes, there are 10 speeds, and I actually just a little while ago was chatting with Calandiel about how I think these speeds need to be tweaked a bit. I think this speed 10 is a little slow, and also if we go down to speed 1, I think this is way too fast because if we're watching a battle or something, that's going to be happening over the course of maybe a couple of hours, but boop, it's over. That's the battle. It's the whole battle would at this speed happen in the course of a second or two, and that's not good. If I want to watch it happen in detail, or if I'm watching something like a volcanic eruption or a fire or whatever. Anyway, Calandiel said that speed will be tweaked to be made slower. So yay! Anyway, let's go back to our dudes here and let's check on the buildings, and you'll see that the gathering camp now has nothing at all in it. Okay. And the hunting camp also has nothing? Oh, oh, okay. Okay, now there's a deer carcass. So I think what's happening is they're just eating the stuff so quickly that it's disappearing. Anyway, we click on the deer carcass. Oh yeah, it has the same description. And it has 000. Must be placeholder. If we go to the gathering camp, that's empty. That's empty. Wait a minute. Why is that empty? It wasn't empty. I was looking at this earlier. And oh, there we go. Okay, it's just being emptied really quickly. Oh, saw it there for a moment. Oh, there we go. Wild barley husk. Okay, so the reason why I'm having difficulty clicking on it is because every day the characters have working and resting hours, and they will gather the food during the working hours, and then during the resting hours, they eat all the food. And so I have to catch them before they've eaten all the food. Anyway, click on the wild barley husk. You can see that it has fats in scientific notation. Not a lot of fats there, minerals, proteins. But if we look at our doodly dudes here, our people, you can see that yeah, 2,500% fat. That's something that we've been joking about to each other in the test channel on the Discord server. That's these these characters just become creatures of pure fat because they're basically just vacuum sucking all the food in the area into their mouths. They don't really forage like they should. Anyway, if we watch this happen, you can see these numbers fluctuate, and you can see working leisure, working leisure. Now we can go through the day, and you can see that work. Come on, come on. There we go. Work. So you can see that they just started working at 22. That's odd. I thought they started working in the mornings. Yeah, I thought the idea was that they would work in the mornings and then stop working in the evenings. I'm not really sure what decides that. But anyway, now there's leisure. And if we look at the buildings again, we can see that there is a water carrier and there are three hunters. And these resting spots now are also owned by the family. So here's the Johnson family. Okay, let's go back to the German ones because they have better names. This is owned by the Gund family, and this is owned by the Alfgund family. Here is Sieg and what is this? Alfaldrein. Winfriedrich Alfaldrein. Oh, that's great. I love these names. I really like how the German names appeared. They look really goofy, but they also are distinctive. And they are based on ancient Germanic names, which I thought was sort of thematically appropriate because we're dealing with hunter-gatherers in these ancient societies, early agriculturalists. So I thought these barbarian-sounding names would be thematic. Rotheid, Heinrad, Gotto Kalmar, Ruprecht, Gerfried, Utz, Aurun Wolfau, Wiebke, Hidivara, Siegfriederich, Ekatvin. I just find these names really funny. Anyway, let's check chat. Oops, there have been chat things. Are wildfires in? No. No, wildfires are not in. It's still updating the biomes pretty slowly. As Calum not doing anything concerning that. Assigned biomes update once a year. If you mean that plants decay too slowly, I tested things out and they already get too quickly. Why once a year? Wildfires will be added after we have a rudimentary game loop in place, unless we run into wild inaccuracies that require it directly. Because it takes 60 milliseconds for million tiles, and doing that would often add up. Do people give birth and die yet? That's next on the list. Okay. No, the people do not give birth and die. And in fact, I don't think they age either. This number here, I assume, is the age of the character, but that never changes. So probably that needs to be done. So anyway, you can see what progress has been done and also the direction that it's going. So we now need to have these guys eating a reasonable amount instead of just eating absolutely everything all at once, like a dog or a cat. And we also need to have them growing old and dying and reproducing. And then, of course, the once all that's done, the big thing will be having them move around the map. At the moment, they're all stationary, but these camps that they have with the resting spots, hunting camps, water carriers, these, of course, because they're hunter gatherers, need to go all around the map. And that, I think, can only happen once the nutrition simulation is working as intended. That's what I think anyway. I'm not a developer, of course. That's for Calandiel to decide, not I. Anyway, um, there's something else I wanted to show, but I can't recall. Um, run for bits. There was something I liked. It was something up here. Wait, no, it's coming to me. It was down here. It was something down. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Right. So this is a graphical problem which Calandiel is aware of. That along sort of the vertices of the world, the borders look kind of funky. But that's just a graphical issue. It does not affect gameplay. And if we go to the Pentagon now, where are the Pentagons? if you find one of the world's pentagons, you can see how it looks really screwy, but I can't remember. There was one near one of these islands somewhere. Can't recall where it was. Oh, wait. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. So here's a pentagon, and you can see that the tiles all look kind of wonky around the pentagon there. That's just necessary. That has to happen for the icosahedron that comprises the world to function properly. There's actually a way for us to see the icosahedron if we, yeah, there it is. Right. So you can see that the pentagon is there, right there in the middle. And then these are the faces of the icosahedron. That's what the world is made of. Anyway, let's check chat. I agree with your assessment. Next on the list, in the sense of for the next Patreon build, space-time is warping right there. Next on the list is the sense of being on my plate next week, which presumably includes the next Patreon build. Okay. Wanted to make sure I don't miss anything in chat. I don't believe there's anything else. Now, there are lots of areas that do not have any local animals, but that presumably will not be the case. Oh, actually, there is another thing. The glaciers. The glaciers. Here's one. The glaciers have local plants and animals. If we click on a glacier, we can see that it has, um, where is it? Here, Arctic willow and deer. Now, obviously, that's not the case. Really, this is not supposed to have plants. This is not supposed to have deer. This is all these are all numbers that should basically be presented in the UI as zero. But that's something else we'll talk to Calandiel about. Oh yeah, here's the thing where there's a drought and not a lot of snow is falling. That's still here. That's pretty cool. All right. Anyway, I think that's about all. They also have plants assigned. I got to fix that. Yep. Does snow update more often? It's still once per month, just like in the last build. They should have no biomass, but I think plant utilization is written before glaciers are made. It updates once a month. Yep. 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 This is why we're here. We're here to look at things and make sure they're working properly. One thing I also really like about this world is that it has this river, this big river up here that flows off of the glacier, and it has these lakes. So the river flows along and it pools in these little lakes along here. I mean, just think of the beavers. Oh, the beavers, they would love this area. This is beaver heaven. They would commandeer these lakes and they would make a big civilization up here. And look at their local plants. Those beavers be eating a lot of, what would they be eating? Rye and nothing and musk strawberries, einkorn wheat, wild rye, honeysuckle, wild barley, yeah, shrimp, deer. Anyway, that's pretty cool. And of course, there'll be a lot more plants later. Anyway, I think that's about all. Unless there's something else, Calandiel, unless you are aware of something that I have not covered that I forgot. Um, I've only been streaming for about 40 minutes. I usually go for about an hour. Plants are available only in specific time periods. What do you mean? You mean plants are only available in certain times of the year? Or during certain months? Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Although I think then what you need to do is have that shown in the UI somehow that you could, I don't know, click on the flora and fauna tab and then you could click on the local plant and see what stage of growth it's in or something like that. I don't know. Just just an idea. Characters' personalities influence their foraging patterns, but I think you can't view it in the UI yet. I do not believe you can, no. Let's find some dudes. Here's some dudes. All right, dudes. And let's click on a dude, and this is the dude. Oh, they have a mother and father system. Nope, nope, never mind. This guy, so his spouse has a mother, but I think that was just their world generation. All right. Anyway, this is all I can see. Job, unemployed, body size, muscles. Okay, so this guy, John Smith, has no food at all. And, oh, yeah, that's another thing, too. They can't starve. The people cannot die. They do not age. They do not starve. They eat because they are programmed to, not because they really need to. Of course, that's something that'll need to be changed later. Should add personality and attributes to the UI. Yes. Yes. If you don't do that, then we, the players, don't really have any way of knowing that it's happening, that it exists. And I guess at the moment, the only difference would be that a character would forage maybe more often, would have more working hours. A lazy character would work less, an industrious character would work more, I assume. Or maybe they gather more plants during the working hours if they're more efficient or something like that. I don't know. That's for Calandiel to explain. Can we get defines for that world? Yes, the defines are default. They are the default defines. I changed absolutely nothing except for the seed, which is 1337, the number 1337. Leet. Yeah, that's right. They work fewer or more hours based on the personality. Okay, that's what I assumed. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to show. How much does farming V favor? I don't know what you're asking about. Farming favorability? What do you mean? I don't believe that's been changed. Now, I assume these dudes here would go north into the nice, much more livable area up here. They wouldn't stay in the desert and just starve. I think you've showed everything. Yep. I also think I've showed everything. Pretty cool stuff. Yes. Yes, it is pretty cool stuff. The areas with higher farming favorability have more food. I believe so, yes. Yes, there are different amounts of plants and animals in each tile, although that's not shown in the UI, I believe. It doesn't affect foraging food, it's farming favorability. Well, okay, but the areas with high farming favorability would also just be really good for plant growth anyway, right? So what one could assume then that one would find more wild food in an area with high farming favorability than an area with low farming favorability. Yeah, right. They tend to be related. Yes, that's that's what I thought. Also, if you ping me in the chat, I don't really see it or hear it, so it doesn't really do much. Farming and agriculture is not added yet, so that doesn't matter. Right. That's right. There is no farming or agriculture. All that they do, all that the people do is gather the plants that they spawn near. To add a map with nature depletion. Yes, yes. So there is a sort of there will be a calculation of how much wild food is available in a tile, and it can be depleted, upon which point the hunter-gatherers will move to a new tile and gather food there. And I assume that will be shown in the UI at some point. Though at the moment, there's not much point in that because the hunter-gatherers can't move anyway, so they just stay put. What's the basis for the tribe spawning? I don't know. I assume it's random. Calandiel will have to ask that question. Answer the question. Where the tribes spawn. Oh, whoops! I forgot. I left the simulation running. It's been going for 11 years now. Probably the region is stabilized. Oh, hey, this area that was a savanna, or I was looking at the beginning, is now a temperate broadleaf forest. How exciting! Although this world doesn't have an awful lot of cold areas. There's just this area right here. I tend to like the cold areas the most. Now, the places I love are the alpine, the equatorial alpine biome. I love that. I think that's just so cool. That there could be a taiga at the equator. That's great. That's that. Oh, I love that. That's so neat. So that's really bad here, but that's not surprising. What's in chat? The game finds tiles that fit a given species. Okay, Calandiel. So does the game presently consider a species' preferences when placing them? Because at the moment, of course, there's only humans. So are there statistics of humans that the game is considering when placing them? Or is that something that you plan to implement later once there are multiple species? If you open the text files in the raws, you can see which things humans prefer. Ooh, there's one for sentient races. Da, da, da. Races. Oh, there it is. Race human. Zone Mediterranean. Pregnancy length 8. Diet omnivore. Males per thousand females 1050. Frequency 100. Nutrition. Hydration needs. Caloric needs. I see. So, Zone Mediterranean. Yeah, okay, so. Gosh. I could show you this file actually. I have it open now. But, need to find a way to do that. Let's see. Yes. And you can see that, right? Okay, so this is the file. There we go. So that is the file we're talking about. And you can see that the zone Mediterranean, that's where they will prefer to live. You really want to destroy the land bridge between the lakes. Well, unfortunately, land tiles will always be land tiles, sea tiles will always be sea tiles. Thus it has always been. Although, of course, well, I say of course, there will be canals and stuff like that. Yes, canals, right, right. Although hunter-gatherers are not known for their canal construction. Anyway, you can see the race um, file here, and presumably I could change this stuff if I wanted to, but I won't because I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'd probably just screw it up. So this is easily moddable in the sense that you can just change these numbers, but it's not super clear about what the numbers do. For example, caloric needs 2000, 2500 in kilocalories. Why are there two numbers here? Is this a range? Minimum 2000, maximum 2500? I'm not really sure what that means. Ah, one for male, one for female. Okay, well, you see, that wasn't clear from the file. And now with nutrition, I can see nutrition, female, male. Oh, I get it. I see now. I see. Okay. So this is like a header describing this. Ah, I get it. I get it. Okay. I did a think me smart good. Anyway, something like pregnancy length is obviously very straightforward. Diet omnivore. Oh, I also like here that you show us the options, so I know what I could type. But here with zone, I don't know what the other options are. I would need to maybe look at some other file to see what the names of all the biomes are, so I could know what to type there. Now, of course, something that's just a number obviously doesn't need to be explained. You'll add a comment for that. Yes, please do that. Let me turn this off now. That's not very interesting. Uh, you assume zones are Köppen. The Köppen climate zones here, you can see that they pretty much correspond with biomes, except when they don't. There's a nice area down here, which has this sort of Mediterranean area where all these tribes are spawned, and it has this mountain range here. This is a nice area. I think there'd be a. Oh, wait! Of course! Right! It's a Mediterranean area, and so that's where the humans spawned. Ah, and then here's a Mediterranean area where the humans spawned. Okay, I see Calandiel. Right. And then here, Mediterranean, where the humans are, and then here's Mediterranean human. Okay. All right. I get it now. I see. I see. Ba, ba, ba. Wheat. Yes. They correspond to biomes when you don't grow plants because the plants are initialized based on equipment climates. Yes. Yes, I noticed that at the beginning of the game that the plants and the biomes matched. Yep. Well, I don't really have any more questions. But wow, I am looking at my list of viewers. This is more viewers than I've ever had. This is one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 viewers, at least according to my little list here in OBS. It's probably more than that, and OBS just isn't showing me the correct number. What's this button do? What? Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to show you. That's all for now. If you missed anything, if you joined the stream late, of course you can rewind, watch the earlier bit. This will be available for 2 weeks on Twitch. I don't plan to back it up because it doesn't really matter. I doubt it. You know, if I were to put this on YouTube, I think it would get maybe, I don't know, 20 views. What's the point? Why bother? The med spawning is a bit of a hard boundary law. Thanks for streaming. Well, no problem. I am very happy to stream it. This is exciting for me. I love when there's a new test build so I have more things to show the people. This is also important for engaging the people who are interested in Songs of the Eon, showing them that there has been progress and showing them what the progress is and making them say, "Oh wow, this looks cool. I I will continue to follow this," instead of thinking that development is dead or something. There'll be a whole lot more races, and initial spawns wouldn't matter a lot. If you save on YouTube, maybe later generations will be able to see how songs the Eon started off. Well, you see, Bri Science Guy, I have all of the previous versions of Songs of the Eons saved on my computer. I started playing Songs of the Eons, I think in April of 2020, and I still have that version saved. So I have all of them. So if I wanted to show you a transition, a development, I could, and I probably will do that. Maybe in 5 or 6 years, who knows? I'll be able to make a kind of montage video, put that on YouTube that shows how the game's been developed. I should have added conditions for elevation and such to humans, but apparently I removed it. Well, I don't know. Did you? That's me. They seem to all spawn in low-lying areas, though. Anyway, I have been going for about 55 minutes. That's good. That's about an hour, how long I normally stream. And I'm gonna call it quits here. So thanks everybody for coming. Thank you, Calandiel, for coming. That was super cool. We could have the developer here and ask questions. This is good. I think this was a very good stream. And Calandiel, if you make a new test build sometime soon, then we can have another good stream. Now, would that not be exciting? Okay, anyway, that's all. I'm going to wait a few seconds for that message to be broadcast to all my viewers, and I'm going to click the end stream option. So, yeah, that's it. Bye.